Happy Black History Month, everyone. Since it's winter outside, let me tell you about the first black athlete to win a medal at any Winter Olympics. Her name is Deborah Thomas, better known as Debbie. She was the first and only African-American figure skating champion in the United States. The former figure skater and physician placed 5th in the World Championships in 1985 and won gold in 1986. The 1988 Olympic bronze medalist and a 2-time U.S. national champion, was the first African-American to hold U.S. national titles in ladies figure skating. Thomas, a pre-med student at Stanford during this time, and although it was unusual and unreal for a top U.S. skater to go to college at the same time while competing, in 1986 she received a Candace Award for trailblazing from the National Coalition of 100 Black Women. Debbie Thomas went on to become a practicing orthopedic surgeon specializing in hip and knee replacement. So kudos to Deborah Thomas and her fantastic career in figure skating. When Willie O laced up his skates for the Boston Bruins on January 18, 1958, he became the first black player to appear in an NHL game. In doing so, he made history breaking the NHL color line and removing another barrier for blacks in professional sports. O'Ree almost didn't get the chance to make his place in history. 2 years before being called up to the Bruins, O'Ree was struck in the right eye with a puck, leaving it 95% blind. If the injury had come to light, he would have never got the opportunity to play, so he kept his injury a secret. He played 45 games in his career, and on January 1st, 1961, O'Ree became the first black player to score a goal in the NHL. And after his time with the Boston Bruins, he played 14 more years of professional hockey across Canadian and American leagues. O'Ree may not have set scoring records during his time in NHL, but he was an important pioneer who blazed a path with courage and class in the sport of hockey. Meet track star, Olympian, gold medalist Florence Joyner, better known as FloJo. FloJo ran like no woman had ever run before. She won 3 Olympic gold medals and a silver medal in the 1988 Seoul Olympics. Her times in the 100-meter and 200-meter dashes remain a world record to this very day. The event that made her a household name, but FloJo was not known for just her speed. She was also famous for her fashion, flowing hair, and long fingernails. In an age where runners were told strictly not to wear their long hair, wear jewelry, or grow long nails, FloJo did just those things. Today, Florence Joyner is enshrined as one of the greatest athletes in track for revolutionizing women's sprinting with both her speed and her fashion. Meet tennis icon, scholar, and vocal champion for civil rights, Arthur Ashe. Ashe received a scholarship to attend UCLA, and in 1963, as a junior, he became the first African-American to ever win a tennis Division I singles title. He would also win a doubles title. While a student at UCLA, he was selected for the U.S. Davis Cup team as its first ever African-American player. Ashe helped the U.S. win 4 Davis Cup tournaments and later became the captain of the team. Ashe in 1968, still an amateur, competed at the U.S. Open and became the first African-American to ever win the U.S. Open title. In 1970, Ashe also won his second Grand Slam singles title at the Australian Open in 1970, where he became the first black man to win the title and the first non-Australian to win in over a decade. In 1973, Ashe received a visa to play in Africa as he saw an opportunity to break down stereotypes and highlight ongoing racial discrimination around the world, while celebrating the potential of a fully integrated society. Competing in the men's doubles with his former rival Tom Acker as his teammate, Ashe won the 1973 South African Open, breaking the color barrier in South Africa 20 years before the fall of the apartheid. In 1975, he would compete at Wimbledon against long rival Jimmy Connors. Ashe never beaten Connors in any previous matches, but Ashe's 4-set victory made him the only black man to ever win the singles title at Wimbledon, the U.S. Open, and the Australian Open. Mr. Arthur Ashe. Let me tell you about the two-sport athlete Althia Gibson, the tennis and golf star who emerged as the unlikely queen of the highly segregated sports world in the 1950s. She was the first black athlete to win a Grand Slam tournament in tennis. She captured the singles crown at the French Open in 1957. Later, Gibson also became the first African American to win the singles title at Wimbledon. And after tennis, she moved over to golf, and she was the first African American woman on the LPGA Tour in 1963. Gibson entered the professional golf world and was the first black woman to compete on the LPGA Tour until 1967. Miss Gibson, one of the best and most significant athletes of our time, paved the road for blacks in tennis. She was also named to the International Tennis Hall of Fame in 1971, the Women's Sports Hall of Fame in 1980, and the Black Athletes Hall of Fame in 1974. Althia Gibson, the tennis and golf star. Do you know about one of the greatest pitchers in all of baseball, Satchel Paige? Satchel Paige began his professional career in the Negro Leagues in the 1920s. The lanky, 6'3" right-hander quickly became the biggest drawing card in Negro baseball, able to overpower batters with a mean fastball. Paige, a showman at heart, bounced from team to team in search of the best paycheck, often pitching hundreds of games a year. Paige made his major league debut at the age of 42 years old. Paige became the oldest player to debut in the major leagues. He brought out crowds of more than 200,000 people to come and see him through his first 3 starts in the majors. Paige was the first African American to pitch in the World Series and was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1971. We take a deep dive into Simone Manuel, a freestyle swimming specialist from the United States, achieving record-setting performances as early as 12 years old when she set a record for her age group in the 100-meter freestyle at the World Championships. Following this, she went on to set several school records at Stanford University. Simone also holds 3 world records as a member of a relay team, and she is a 6-time Division I swimming and diving champion, becoming one of the first 3 African American women to place in the top 3 spots in the 100-meter freestyle event. In 2016, at her very first Olympic Games in Rio, Simone Manuel won the gold medal in the 100-meter freestyle, becoming the first African American to win an individual swimming Olympic gold medal. She walked away from the 2016 Games with a total of 4 medals, 2 gold and 2 silver. And since then, she has continued to crush records and collect medals in swimming pools all across the globe. Simone Manuel. Let's take a look at former Washington Commanders quarterback Doug Williams. Doug Williams, the Grambling State University star quarterback, was the first black quarterback taken in the first round of the NFL draft. He was the first in a couple of milestones. The most important, he was the first black quarterback to start and win a Super Bowl. After trailing 10-0 early, Williams became the first player to ever throw 4 touchdown passes in a single Super Bowl quarter. As quarterback for the Washington Commanders football team, he not only helped win the game, but was the first black quarterback to be named the most valuable player in a Super Bowl. Mr. Doug Williams. Meet Alice Coachman, an American track and field athlete who specialized in the high jump. Growing up in the segregated South, she overcame discrimination and unequal access that would inspire generations of other black athletes to reach for their athletic goals. During her career, she won 34 national titles, 10 for the high jump in consecutive years. Coachman's first international competition came during the Olympic Games in the 1948 Olympics in London. She would win gold in the high jump at the 1948 Games, becoming the first African American woman to win an Olympic gold medal. Coachman was the first black woman from any country to win an Olympic gold medal. She retired from the athletic competition after the 1948 Games at the age of 24 to raise a family and become a school teacher. Coachman was later inducted into the National Track and Field Hall of Fame, and an elementary school in Albany, Georgia, bears her name. Alice Coachman. Isaac Burns Murphy, was an African-American jockey who is considered to be one of the greatest riders in American thoroughbred horse racing history. He began riding at the age of 14, and by the end of 1876, Isaac won 11 races at Lexington. In 1877, he won 19 races and rode in his first Kentucky Derby, coming in 4th place. Isaac Murphy rode in 11 Kentucky Derbies, the first jockey to ride 3 Kentucky Derby winners. Murphy is the only jockey to have won the Kentucky Derby, the Kentucky Oaks, and the Clark Handicap in the same year. The son of formerly enslaved parents became one of America's most recognizable athletes during an era when horse racing was one of America's pastimes. He has won an impressive 44% of all the races he rode, a record that is still unmatched. He is considered to be one of the best jockeys in all of horse racing history and was inducted into the National Museum of Racing and Hall of Fame at its creation in 1955. Mr. Isaac Burns Murphy.